lose that girl, and you'll lose everything. Your inheritance, your future, all of it.
The wealthy woman's voice shook with fury, but he didn't flinch. He held the trembling maid's hand tightly. I don't want your money, he said softly. I want her. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. Please, don't do this for me. But his grip only tightened. 12 weeks earlier, she had never seen a place so big in her life. Marble floors, gold-framed paintings. It felt like stepping into another world. She kept her head down as she cleaned, trying to do everything perfectly. She needed this job. Her family depended on her. Then the front door opened. Everyone whispered, "He's back." A tall, confident man walked in, sharp suit, calm eyes, the air of someone raised around power. He noticed her standing nervously with her cleaning cloth. "Good morning," he said gently. "You must be new here." She nodded quickly. Yes, sir." "No need to be scared," he replied with a small smile. "Welcome." She didn't know that smile would change her life forever. 2 weeks later, the mansion held a dinner. Guests with diamonds, expensive perfumes, and even more expensive egos. She tried her best as she served drinks, but her hand shook, and juice spilled slightly onto a guest's dress. The woman gasped dramatically. "Are you blind? Do you know how much this dress costs?" "I'm so sorry. It was an accident," the maid whispered. "This is why people like you should stay out of places like this." The room went silent. The wealthy young man stood up sharply. "She said it was an accident," he said coldly. "What you just said to her was disrespectful. Apologize." The woman's jaw dropped. "Excuse me, you heard me." Humiliated, she muttered, "Fine, sorry." For the first time, someone had defended her, and something warm stirred in her chest. Later that night, she slipped into the garden to breathe. The weight of the humiliation sat heavy on her heart. She didn't expect him to follow. "Hey, are you okay?" "I'm fine," she said quickly, wiping her eyes. "You're crying." She looked away. "I just feel out of place here." He sat beside her on the bench. "You're not the only one who feels trapped," he said quietly. "Sometimes money creates its own prison." She stared at him, surprised. "You? Trapped?" He gave a sad smile. "My life looks perfect from the outside, but inside, it's not what everyone thinks." They talked for a long time, about dreams, fears, family, and something between them quietly shifted. But someone else had noticed their closeness. One afternoon, the jealous guest quietly slipped her expensive bracelet under the maid's cleaning cloth. Moments later, she shouted through the house, "Where is my bracelet?" Everyone searched, until she found it under the maid's cloth. "There, I knew she was a thief." The lady of the house was furious. "How dare you steal from me?" Before the maid could speak, a slap echoed across the room. "I didn't take anything," she cried. "Please believe me. Get out of this house, now." She packed her bag with shaking hands, but the young man wasn't convinced. He rushed to the security room, checked the CCTV, and saw the truth. The jealous guest had planted the bracelet. The young man brought everyone to the living room. "Play the footage," he ordered. The video revealed everything. The jealous guest turned pale. I can explain." "No, you can't," he said coldly. "You set her up." The lady of the house lowered her head. "I'm sorry." But the maid shook her head, tears spilling. "I can't stay where I'm never wanted." She walked out. He chased after her. "Wait." She turned, wiping her tears. "What do you want?" "I'm just the maid." "You're so much more than that," he said softly. "You're strong, kind, and you're the only person who makes me feel like myself." Her breath caught. "I'm falling in love with you." She looked down, overwhelmed. "Your family will never accept someone like me. I don't want their approval," he said, stepping closer. "I want you." Just then, the wealthy woman marched outside. "Step away from that girl." Neither of them moved. "If you choose her," she said, trembling with rage, "you lose everything. Your inheritance, your position, all of it." The maid shook her head desperately. "Please, don't throw your life away because of me." But his voice was calm. "I'd rather be poor with her than rich and miserable without her." The wealthy woman gasped as he walked away, his hand firmly holding the maid's. They moved into a small apartment. It wasn't luxurious, but it was peaceful. He started his own small business. She began taking night classes. The small apartment was quiet except for the soft hum of the fan. He walked in, tired from work, loosening his tie. She looked up from her textbooks. "You're home late again," she said gently. "There was a delay at the shop." He forced a smile. "But it's okay. We're okay." But they both felt it. The weight, bills, rent, school fees. Starting from scratch wasn't as dreamy as movies made it look. That night, as they lay on their tiny bed, she whispered, "Do you regret choosing me?" He turned toward her immediately. Never. Not for a second. But in the quiet, she still wondered. The next morning, she put on her cleanest outfit and headed to a hotel for a job interview. Something better than cleaning. Something with a future. She sat nervously outside the manager's office. Finally, the door opened. "Come in." The manager skimmed through her CV. "You worked in a mansion? Good. But There's a problem. Her stomach tightened. What problem? You didn't include a reference. We need one? She hesitated. I can't go back there. The manager sighed. Then we can't hire you. I'm sorry. She walked out slowly. Her feet felt heavier with each step. It felt like doors kept closing no matter how hard she tried. Meanwhile, across the city, in the large mansion he once called home, a heated conversation was happening. He's ruining himself, the wealthy woman said, pacing. That girl is dragging him down. The family lawyer shook his head. Removing him from the company was legal. But if he continues like this, he may lose everything. We can't let that happen, she whispered. Bring him home, by force if necessary. The lawyer hesitated. And the girl? The wealthy woman's eyes hardened. She must be removed from his life. Permanently. Later that evening, as she walked home from buying groceries, a dark-colored car slowed beside her. The window rolled down. A voice spoke. You should leave him. She froze. Who are you? That doesn't matter. For your own safety, end it. Walk away before things get worse. She stepped back, heart pounding. Why are you saying this? Because the people you're up against don't play fair. The car drove off. Her hands trembled so hard she almost dropped the bag. At home, he was cooking noodles when she walked in, pale. Hey, what happened? You look scared. She tried to smile. Nothing, just a long day, but he saw the worry in her eyes. Later, while they ate, he noticed her silence. Talk to me, he said softly. She hesitated. Maybe you should go back, she whispered, to your family, to your old life. You don't deserve this struggle. He put his chopsticks down. I didn't choose you because it was easy, he said. I chose you because you're the only person who ever loved me for who I am. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm scared, she said. That's all. He moved closer and held her. Then we'll be scared together. But deep down, he knew something was wrong. A week passed. His business struggled. She still couldn't find work. Rent was due. They argued for the first time. I'm doing everything I can, he yelled. So am I, she shouted back. It's not my fault your family hates me. Maybe if you just talk to them, why should I? Her voice cracked. They don't want me. They want me gone. He rubbed his face, frustrated. This is not what I imagined for us. She turned away. Then maybe you should go back to the life you imagined. Silence. Cold. Heavy. He grabbed his jacket and stepped outside. The door slammed. She sank to the floor, crying. Later that night, someone knocked on the apartment door. She opened it slowly. The wealthy woman stood there, her perfume, her confidence, her icy eyes. I came to help you, she said simply. The maid swallowed. I don't need your help. Yes, the woman replied, stepping inside uninvited. You do. She placed an envelope on the table. Inside was money, enough to change her entire life. Take it, the wealthy woman said. Leave him. Move far away. Start over. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. He's suffering with you. You're suffering with him. Be honest. Is this the life you want for him? The maid's throat tightened. If you truly love him, the wealthy woman whispered, prove it. Let him go. Her hands shook. Think about it, the woman added softly. Do the right thing. Then she left. The room felt colder, silent. She stood over the envelope, and her heart broke. Hours later, he returned home, soaked from the rain. He saw her sitting on the bed, holding the envelope. What is that? He asked softly. She looked up. Tears ran down her cheeks. I think I should leave. He froze. What? Her voice cracked. I love you too much to keep ruining your life. The envelope fell from her hands. He stared at it, then at her. Don't, he whispered. Please don't do this. She covered her face and sobbed. I don't know what to do anymore. He rushed to her, pulling her into his arms. We'll face this together, he said fiercely. I'm not losing you, but outside. A car engine idled in the darkness, watching, waiting. Because the war wasn't over, it was only beginning. The rain didn't stop that night. It hammered against the windows like the world itself was falling apart. He held her tightly on the bed, refusing to let go. You're not leaving, he whispered. I don't care what my family says. I don't care what they offer you. We're in this together. She shook her head. They won't stop, she whispered back. Your mother came here herself. What will they do next? What if they hurt you? He lifted her chin gently. They already hurt me, by trying to tear us apart. Her heart ached, but fear still lingered in her eyes. The next morning, he insisted on walking her to work search appointments. But the moment they stepped outside, something felt off. A man in a black cap pretended to be reading a newspaper. A dark SUV parked too close, a familiar tension in the air. He whispered, Stay close to me. As they walked, the man with the newspaper suddenly stepped into their path. You shouldn't be here, he muttered. Go home. Now. The young man glared. Who sent you? The man looked at the girl instead. This is your last warning. Before they could respond, he walked away quickly, disappearing into the crowd. She felt her knees weaken. Your family. They're watching us. He stormed to the mansion that same afternoon. The wealthy woman was seated elegantly in the living room, sipping tea as though nothing was wrong. You sent men to follow us? He demanded. She didn't look surprised. I did what I had to do. You're my son. I'm not your possession, he snapped. And she's not your enemy. She is a burden, the woman replied calmly. She has no education, no status, no future, and she is dragging you down. He shook his head in disbelief. You don't even know her. I know enough, she said coldly. And I know you will return, home eventually, when she leaves you. He clenched his fists. You're wrong. The wealthy woman gave a chilling smile. We'll see. Hours later, he came home exhausted, frustrated, and angrier than he'd ever been. She won't stop, he said. She will never stop. The maid tried to calm him. You shouldn't have gone there. What was I supposed to do? Let them terrorize you? Let them chase us like animals? She touched his arm gently. I love you, she whispered. But I won't let you lose everything because of me. He pulled his arm away, hurt. Why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep acting like you're not worth anything? Her voice broke. Because your world and mine, they were never meant to mix. He stared at her, wounded. So what, you want to give up? She covered her face. I don't know. He turned away, frustrated. This can't be how our story ends, but neither of them knew that someone was listening from outside the thin apartment door. The next evening, she went out alone to buy food. He was in the shower and didn't notice she had stepped out. As she walked down the dim street, the same dark SUV from earlier pulled up silently. Before she could scream, a cloth covered her mouth. Hands grabbed her. Her groceries fell to the ground. Everything went black. The SUV door slammed. It sped away into the night. Back in the apartment, he came out of the shower calling her name. No response. He checked the street. Her bag, her shoes, the food she bought, all lying on the ground. His heart dropped. He whispered shakily, No, 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 please. And then he screamed her name. But the night answered with silence. He ran through the streets like a madman, asking everyone, Did you see her? Please? Did anyone see her? No one had. His chest tightened with panic as he called the police. Hours passed. No news, no clues. He finally collapsed on the sidewalk, hands in his hair. This is my fault, he whispered. I should have protected her. But at that very moment, she woke up. She found herself tied to a chair in a dim, cold warehouse. A tall man stepped forward, one of the family's security operatives. You're safe, he said calmly, but you're not going anywhere until this is over. What do you want from me? She cried. For you to make the right choice. She shook her head in disbelief. You kidnapped me? We persuaded you, he corrected. Then the door opened, and the wealthy woman walked in. She looked at the maid with pity, or something that resembled pity. I warned you, the woman said softly. I told you to leave him. The maid's voice trembled. You can't keep him from me. The woman walked closer. I'm not keeping him from you. I'm saving him. The wealthy woman placed a contract on the table beside the maid. Sign this, she said. It becomes a legal agreement that you will cut ties with my son forever. In exchange, you will receive enough money to start a new life. Tears welled in the maid's eyes. You don't understand, she whispered. He doesn't care about money, but you care about him, the wealthy woman replied. And this is the only way to protect him. The maid shook her head. He will come for me, the woman sighed. He already has, and he will not stop until he destroys himself. Don't let that happen. She turned to leave. Think carefully, my dear. Love is sometimes about sacrifice. Meanwhile, he was searching every corner of the city, bloodshot eyes. No sleep, no food. He tracked down the SUV through a CCTV camera near the grocery store. Following the trail, he reached the warehouse. He kicked the door open. Where is she? The guard tried to restrain him, but he fought like someone with nothing left to lose. He ran into the room and saw her tied to the chair. She gasped. You came. He rushed to her, pulling her into his arms. I thought I lost you, he whispered, voice shaking. But then he saw the contract on the table. His face fell. What is this? She looked down. They want me to leave you, for your own good. He shook his head. No, no, don't do this. But she saw his bruised fists, his exhausted eyes, the pain written all over him. I can't keep being the reason you suffer, she cried. You're not, he whispered. You're the only reason I'm alive. The wealthy woman appeared at the doorway. If you walk out of here with her, she said quietly, you lose everything forever. He held the maid's hand tightly. I've already made my choice. The woman's voice trembled. You're choosing her over your own family? He nodded. Yes, I am. The maid looked up at him, overwhelmed. You'll lose your future, she whispered. He touched her cheek gently. Maybe my future was never meant to be built on their terms. She burst into tears. I don't want to ruin your life. You're saving it, he said softly. You saved me the moment you walked into that mansion. They both turned toward the wealthy woman. He said one last time, I choose her. A small cafe buzzed with quiet music. The maid, no longer a maid, was behind the counter, taking orders with a bright smile. The young man entered, wearing an apron. Their own business, their own life, their own happiness. They weren't rich, they weren't powerful, but they were free. And in the end, that was worth more than any inheritance. He walked behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist and whispered, I told you, we'd make it. She smiled, leaning back into him. Yes, she whispered. We did, and for the first time, their story truly began. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs a reminder that healing is possible. Love can transform us. It's never too late to feel again. Want more stories like this? Subscribe, follow for more emotionally powerful tales about second chances, redemption arcs.